What is up, truckers and fans of trucker hats? This is Erico Blueberry. It's an Unassuming Destiny podcast. My name is Chillybin.
My name's Meckii. I didn't get a hat.
You didn't get one? They were sending trucks hats to everybody.
Yeah.
You've got a truck on your shirt, though, so...
It's a Jeep, spelt with a G.
Yeah, a Geep.
A Geep.
The Gorilla's Geep.
Yeah.
I hate this. We're already off topic, and it's been, I don't know, all of 10 seconds. We're talking about Destiny, which, look, we missed last week. You were not doing so flash.
Oh, I got absolutely fucking wrecked by the flu. Holy shit.
Yeah, you were dealing with 2 strains of something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just intense.
They swizzled the nizzle just to triple check it wasn't COVID. I'd been testing negative for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, you know what, we're going to do a PCR just in case. And I was like, okay, that's manageable. I've been giving myself rat tests pretty much fortnightly for the last
It's nice to have
year.
someone else service you once in a while, you know?
Yeah. It's like the touch of another human. I'm so touch deprived that someone else swabbing my nose.
Get up in this noosey.
It's a pleasant experience. That's how touch deprived I am.
Please scratch my brain.
Is this what love is? Are we dating now?
Is this the tingle?
So she got up there, got all up in there, got up in my brains.
Yes.
And then she pulls out a second fucking swab, and I'm like, wait a minute.
No.
What the hell? And she's like, oh, we have to test for the flu too, because of that flu strain that's going around at the moment. I'm like, oh, you want to test for monkeypox while you're here too?
Yeah, let me just take down my pants and bend over. What else are you going to do?
Let's just do the full kit and caboodle. 4 days later, my doctor rings me and he goes, yeah, can you call me back, like, soon? I was like, oh, I'm fucking dying. Amazing. He's like, it's not the flu, but it's 17 types of cancer. Sorry, bye. He rings me and he goes, you've got both types of the flu going around at the moment.
Bruh.
I was like, but do I have COVID? And he's like, no, you tested negative. And I was like, oh, cool. And he's like,
but you
have
very not cool, actually.
both strains of the flu. I hope you understand that. And I'm like, yeah, this happens to me once every 3 or 4 years. I catch both strains of the flu.
You just like pull out a go bag. You're like, I know what I need to do now.
Yeah, I got like one of those full of just cold and flu medication.
Oh, sick, yeah.
Just for whenever I get a cold or a flu. They happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, yeah, so you've caught this super flu that's killing people. And I was like, sick.
And you're still here.
And then you've got the normal flu. I was like, sick. Awesome.
You're just on the phone with the doctor like, sup, brah.
Yeah.
I'm sick as fuck.
I have a chronic illness. I see my doctor probably once every 2 weeks. Especially when I had my injury. So he and I are...
very well acquainted.
That man has seen multiple MRIs of my whole body. He knows me. He knows me in and out.
Oh, I feel like that there's a power dynamic there. Like he needs to now show you something about himself.
He's like, I got a cool freckle on my arm.
Yeah, here's this deep, dark personal secret. That'll do. What else you got?
It's a toupee. I'm like, yeah, I know, homie. I know.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I know.
Shit's a bad wig.
Yeah. So we were meant to record Friday.
Yes.
I went to bed, and then I think I messaged you Sunday, just like, hey, fun fact.
We were like on the edge of like, maybe we could record Saturday morning, and then it was like first thing Saturday morning, I look at my phone and you're like, nah.
It was like 4 a.m. I'm like, homie, I just slept 18 hours and I'm going back to bed.
Yeah, I need more.
I had some microwave soup, a bottle of water, and then went back to bed and slept another 18 hours.
Well, we're back. You're better, assuming that's the case.
Yeah, subjective.
Yeah. But what that means is we missed talking about the end of Solstice. That ended with this week's reset. Almost said we set.
This week's reset.
I'm tired. So in terms of finishing up Solstice, I managed to get that Flame Walker title right at the end. Sort of like, it was either the night before reset or 2 nights before. I was just like, I'm going to go in and just like run through Dares of Eternity and some Crucible to get the last couple of challenges done. Got the title, got my full armor set, glow, masterworked, whatever it is. Only did the one character though, because I'm not a psycho. So I didn't guild the Flame Walker, but I also didn't really care enough to put in that amount of work over 3 weeks. But I did it, and I feel good about it. And I don't have any of the weapons. I think I maybe kept 1 or 2 of the weapons that dropped out of the event because they seemed alright, but I'm probably still not going to use them.
Yeah, I am pissed about the flu situation.
Yeah,
because
you were doing pretty well.
I was 2 away from doing everything.
Like from getting the title or from gilding it?
From getting the title.
That sucks. I mean, you got enough to like do the Solstice part for Reveler, right?
Yes, yeah. So I did
16 you needed.
Yeah, I did that. So that's fine. That's really the only title at the moment that I'm like, hey, that looks cool. I want that.
And pretty achievable, right? Like getting the 16, I think I got in the first week. And that was
I want to rock up in the tower and everyone be like, that girl knows how to party.
Yeah, I mean, I tattooed it on my arm. Well, I didn't. I paid someone to do it. But like, everybody's committed to the party lifestyle in different ways.
Yeah. Tonight we're going to party and we party hard. Andrew WK.
Yes. God. Or the Baby No Money song.
Yeah.
Tonight we party.
We party.
So good. Both very good party songs.
I don't give a fuck. I'm liquor in the bag. I found my hyperfixation.
Oh, what was it?
Something new.
Oh, that was the name of the gun.
Yeah.
That fucking almost derailed my entire brain. Something new. Yeah, what is it? Oh, it's a new gun. Something new. What?
2 reasons.
Uh-huh.
I kept dropping them, so I was like, oh, this is a new way to be absolutely scuffed.
This is the game now, yep.
And then also Dance Gavin Dance have a song called Something New.
Of course they do.
So I was like,
why did I not think of that?
I have to. For the culture.
Yes, for the culture.
So I ended up with not as many as Guardian games.
Yeah, but also the drop rate during Guardian games was fucking broken.
I ended up with 45 of them. So not as impressive as 100 titles, but still
nearly half.
Really stupid. So I might spend this evening going through all of them and just locking the roles that I like.
Yeah.
Because it's actually not a bad gun to use.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy using it.
And I loved it in week 1, seeing all the clips of people using the Origin perk on it when it was still broken before they fixed it.
Yeah.
Because it would overflow things way past what they were supposed to. So people had Gallahorns with 9 rounds in them when it was really supposed to only do that one time.
Yeah.
So dumb.
And like I've been looking for a purple hand cannon that I actually enjoy using because typically
kinetic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First slot, yeah. Typically the only hand cannons I really use are Thorn.
Mm-hmm. You got like a Fatebringer or Ostringer?
Probably.
Yeah.
But like it's me, and how often do I pay attention to what I...
That's a good point.
Unless I go, oh, pretty gun. And then oh no, that's a sidearm. I was going to say the only other real kind of pistol style weapon I use is Lonesome, and that's because it matches my Gnawing Hunger. It's got the same design.
Good. Hey, it's your build. Do what you want.
I like the aesthetic on the Gnawing Hunger gun because it's in the tower as well.
Yeah. It was like, so after, this is like kind of related, but a bit of a tangent. So like after playing Destiny for a whole bunch of time and then going and trying Outriders, they let you do weapon transmog. And all their transmogs are free. It's actually insane. But like if you've got a submachine gun, you can just transmog it to make it look like any submachine gun you've ever dropped. Which to me is like both cool and really annoying. Granted, they don't have multiplayer, so it doesn't matter. Well, not that kind of multiplayer.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't be able to
ID it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But
that'd make things hard to ID.
You
but
could
if that's not
imagine
an
having
element,
like Thorn, but transmogging it to look like a blue hand cannon, right? Like you could do that. There's no limits in Outriders on the transmog system. It's like, have you unlocked it? Is it this archetype? You can make it look like that. It's actually kind of cool.
I feel like if Bungie did something like that, they would have the foresight to be like,
not in
you
PvP.
can't transmog a yellow to a purple, for example.
Yeah, I also I don't think it fits.
Just with a PvP element, it's like
I don't think it fits in with the way that Destiny kind of works. Like there's a lot more of it that is based on IDing what people are running and working out how to deal with that.
Yeah, and even then games like battle royale games and arena games that have skins for weapons, it never inherently changes the shape of the weapon.
No, it's basically like a shader system.
Yeah.
Of Destiny's vocabulary. But yeah, it's that old stuff is funny to me. It's like, yeah, I love the look of this gun. Then you drop this one, and it's like, oh, this is actually way better. I'm gonna make it look like the one I had though. So you just like, it feels like actually stuffing a gun inside of another gun's skin. It's
like when you change a pillowcase on a pillow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like that, but if you've got like one of those big thick memory foam pillows and the pillowcase is not quite big enough for it, but you're still trying to just get it in there.
Yep.
Keep doing this.
Please don't. Police. Polizia.
Okay, back to Destiny. Thoughts on Solstice? This was kind of the first time we'd seen this change.
I think the refreshment was very good.
Yeah.
I think if they can keep this cycle going of like tweaking events to keep them fresh every 1 or 2 years, people aren't going to be rolling their eyes as hard as when an event comes up. But for me, I feel like Solstice was really the only event at the moment that was kind of meh.
Well, it was also the one that I think
pretty indifferent about it.
Yeah, I think it had gone the longest since any kind of big change, right? It had been EAZ, finish, hunt for boxes for like 2, maybe 3 years. And, you know, the Festival of the Lost stuff has changed 2 or 3 times in that amount of time. Like we had Haunted Forest, we had Haunted Lost sectors.
Also, the changes feel relevant to the seasons they're in as well.
True.
Like they semi tie in. They semi tie into like the energy, if not the lore, but the energy of the season. I've noticed when they've done those updates.
Yeah, true.
It's like when you think about when you think about Halloween and then the holiday event, they tied into the whole energy of welcoming the Elixni to the tower. And telling stories about the Elixni in the tower and stuff like that. And
yeah, true. Yeah, it was good. Like I much like the actual mechanics of the bonfire and like going to grab the things and throw them at the bonfire. It was a lot more engaging. It was a lot more fun, and you know, it was pretty easy to, you know, you load in with 3 people. There's 3 of those things you need to go get. They're all spread out. It was actually pretty easy to go and just get one by yourself and then throw it in, and then another one spawned. So you go do that. And you don't have to like kind of focus as a group on one thing, and it's a huge map to navigate, right? So it gets around that issue. And
it's good too, because when the Taken come in, it kind of pulls you back together as a team
that's
go.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
kill those knights, and then you can disperse again, and then you've got the final boss.
Yeah, and it like after doing maybe 3 to 5 runs, you kind of work out everything that's involved in doing a bonfire run and how to do it efficiently, right? Like you need to get to 20 ignitions to go to the boss fight. If you just keep those wheels turning, it happens pretty quickly. As long as you're, you know, able to hold your own against PvE opponents. Like they weren't really challenging. It's not like you're coming up against a Gambit boss or mini boss or whatever. Like some of those are still pretty tough. Yeah, no champs. It felt pretty good.
Yeah.
It was actually
Even
pretty
then,
fun.
I'd say the closest thing those the spark holders or whatever they were called were they just feel like the high vowels
Yeah.
in Gambit.
Yeah.
They just took a little bit extra to pop them. That was it.
Yeah. Like, and also running around as a Solar Titan, most of them had solar shields. So I just like run in, throwing hammer, shield, and half of their health is basically gone. It's pretty quick to like clear those out and then huck the thing at the bonfire.
You don't even have to be on top of it to dunk it. You can just yeet it from across the map. As long as it's like line of sight.
Like the further away you are, you had to like aim above the bonfire because it did eventually kind of like dip down. But I was like starting to work out that trajectory in my first run because I was like, I threw one from pretty close. I was like, oh, this basically just went in a straight line. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go way back here now. And it was like, done. Okay, this is how I'm doing this now. It's basically like run out of that central area, get the thing, come back to where I've got line of sight, jump in the air, and just fucking bean it straight at the pile of wood. And that was so much fun. Like just throwing these things, not even looking, like throw it, turn around. I'm busy killing the next wave of enemies, and that little message pops up to say I've ignited the bonfire. It's like, yeah, nailed it. It felt so good. Yeah, no, I did say, I didn't keep a count of how many times I said yeet, but I definitely said it more than once.
Yeah, there's a couple of people I played with from our server, and just every now and then it'd be dead silent. You just hear, Kobe!
Buckets!
Yeet!
So good.
Or my classic, yee! When I throw stuff.
What is that?
I don't know. I've just always done it. Yee!
Yes. But yeah, Solstice is done. It was I think pretty well received. It seems like they took out the parts that were annoying, which was mostly the treasure hunt at the end, and then they made the activity itself a lot faster and a lot more fun.
Yeah,
and also like those bosses did not take much work to kill. It felt so
nice.
good. It's like this giant ogre drops in, everybody pops their super, and it's basically just melted. So fun.
Couple of Gallia super, it's gone.
Yeah. Oh, so satisfying.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. And the people who like doing holiday events or community events got a lot out of it. Like, the people who don't do them, who were complaining, I'm like, you don't do them. Like, I understand you want to do them to get the collectibles and stuff, but like...
And actually, that's a good point. I really enjoyed the event card stuff too. Like,
yes, I think it's a very good way to track everything.
Yeah, and like pay the silver, get some extra stuff. That's cool. But also the way it tracked the challenges, which were linked to the triumphs, and that fed into like leveling the armor up. Like, it was a nice little engine there.
I'm excited to see how they apply that system for Christmas.
Oh, dude, we've got Festival of the Lost before we get there.
Yeah, but the menus for Christmas for me were holidays. Hanukkah.
No, what do they call it? It's the dawning. That's it.
Dawning, yeah. Chanukah.
Christmaka.
Chrismona Kwanzaa.
No, Christmaka for all my OC fans out there.
Never watched. The menus and tracking what you were doing and where you're at for that kind of event was really kind of finicky and annoying. So I'm glad that there's a chance it's going to be kind of...
Yeah, because that was the one that had all the cookie baking shit, right?
Yeah, ingredients, and then the oven, and then you had... Yeah, I'm interested to see how they
yeah, as much as I find it really funny...
that.
I find it really funny that you can masterwork the oven. That's just
that's
a fun
great.
statement. But I would like to see some of those like central mechanics to the event get shaken up a bit, right? Like, the menus are annoying, but also the systems are kind of a little, I don't know. It's not heavy-handed, but there's so many little tasks you have to do. Like, you have to go give everybody a cookie, and you have to like
it's tedious.
know all these recipes, and like streamline that a bit. I don't know how, but I also couldn't have predicted the changes to Solstice. So there are very brilliant
I'm excited.
minds. Yeah.
And Halloween's not that far away. It's only 2 months.
That is frightening. It's middle of August.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
the Festival of the Lost always runs over my birthday.
Dude, my birthday's in about a month. So it's just a good season for us.
Yeah.
You just laugh at me?
Yeah. Because haha, birthday.
Haha, I'm old.
Haha, old.
Me.
I'm allowed to make fun of people who are older than me, knowing I probably won't outlive them.
Oh my god.
I'm allowed to go, haha, old. Because in my life expectancy, I'm technically 50.
Fuck. Part of me actually saw that coming. I know you well enough to know that that joke was probably working its way out. Anyway, we're now in, I'm going to get this back on track, the last 2 weeks of the season?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Because we've got 10 days until the showcase. And then season resets then, doesn't it?
Yes,
and
it's
then
like a couple of hours after
new
that.
raid drops.
That weekend, yeah.
3 days later, yeah.
Yes, good. So I'm doing, I believe I said this last season, and I said it on Twitter in response to Joe Blackburn, game director for Bungie, because he does the same thing, which is leave Gilding Dredgen until the end of the season. I've done it again, somehow, despite saying every week, here's my Dredgen check-in, I'm not going to do the thing I do. I've done it.
Yeah, I think this season you're like, I'm going to try and get in early.
Yeah.
Dredgen.
Yeah, and then
then only play Gambit during double XP week.
That's what I did. Yeah. So now I still need to win, I think, like a dozen matches and maybe get 4 good company medals. So it's not that much, but it's annoying.
The funniest part for me is going into the server and being like, is anyone around? Does someone want to play Gambit or something tonight? And you not responding and me being like, you have to play Gambit, motherfucker.
Oh, I know.
Or I'll see you on Destiny and I'll go see what you're doing and it'll be like, exploring here. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's not Gambit.
Or I'm just not in the server, but I'm in Destiny. I'm like, hate listening to metal and playing Gambit as fast as I possibly can.
See, I like Gambit.
No,
I like bullying whole men.
I love Gambit, but I don't like this version of Gambit where I'm doing a cram session of Gambit.
I've made it a chore. It's no longer fun.
Exactly. I've made
do what I do.
I've given myself a deadline and I've left it till the last minute. It's just what I do. Executive
dysfunction, Destiny style.
Bruh. Yes, me. But yeah, it was honestly reassuring to see that like somebody who literally builds the game also does the same thing. I feel better, but also still bad.
I just like recently I replied to something about like the Destiny experience and I had to explain to a total stranger how I play Destiny.
Right.
And knowing that people reading through that thread then got to experience what has been effectively named pigeon brain Destiny.
Yeah.
Or getting roasted the other night while sitting in a voice call with someone who was playing Destiny and he was like, oh, I was meant to do this. And then someone else goes, oh, you're playing Destiny like Meckii.
Yeah, you got that Meckii expansion. That's what's going on. Shit.
But having someone asking about the Destiny experience and me just being like, man, it's not that deep. I play Destiny like a pigeon.
Play like a goldfish. Forgot what I did 5 minutes ago.
Even that, I play it like a crow. I'll see something shiny and be like, I'm going to do that.
That's mine now.
I don't even like doing patrols, but I'll walk past a patrol point and go, yeah, don't mind if I do.
Have you ever seen a heroic patrol? The little gold icon. Very shiny.
Just says E to interact. I'm like, yeah, why not?
Yep, I walked too close and now it's a thing.
Be in the throne world. Don't know what this does, but I'm going to hit it.
It's
sometimes
shiny.
I'll trigger the deep sight things. I don't even want to use it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
And you're like, fuck, I got to use it now. I've got 30 seconds of deep sight.
Great, now I'm in this lost sector I didn't actually want to go in.
Shit.
I don't have to do a public event, but the cart came past me, so I'm like, yeah, okay.
Now I gotta do it now. I'm here. It's here. What else am I gonna do?
I function like that in my real life. Whenever I go out clubbing, my parents give me a little card.
GPS tag.
No, it's a little card that I pin to myself. On the back of it, it says, "Hi, my name is real name. My parents can be contacted on their phone numbers."
If lost, please call.
Because, like, I'll walk past someone and someone will be like, "You're pretty." And I'm like, "I'm hanging out with them. Bye."
Small sign of validation. I'm good.
I like your dress. And I'll be like, "I like you." And then they're my best friends.
Yeah.
That's how I play Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know these people, but they're on a cart. I'm going to join in.
Oh, what? We're all doing emotes in the tower? Guess I'm joining in for half an hour.
Yeah. I'm just going to crouch behind this man because I like his outfit and just follow him around. Why the fuck not?
I mean, now imagine saying that sentence and doing that activity in real life. Someone's calling the police.
Paul.
The problem is in Destiny, we are the police. We're part of the Vanguard. We're the cops.
My favorite pigeon brain thing to do lately is if I'm playing with blueberries, if I'm doing like Gambit or a strike or like something and I know I'm going to leave, I'll just into the fire team chat, I'll just write "love you" and then send a kissy face and then leave.
Oh my god. Imagine if you end up getting like a temporary ban or something for because they think you're griefing. You do that and then you leave.
Just because I said "love you" and then leave after an activity.
Oh, just like my dad.
Oh no.
No.
Just like my boyfriend.
Anyway, last minute Gambit crunch is on. I've got 10 days, was it, to guild my dredgen for the 5th time. And that'll be 5 out of 5 done in the last 2 weeks of the season. I also have a whole bunch of seasonal challenges I still need to get done to get that big gift of bright dust. And I've done it for as long as seasonal challenges have existed. It'll be a shame to stop now. But I also just got a PS5 and I've got other games I want to play. It's a problem. It's a very first world problem. I have too many video games I want to play at the same time. I know who I am.
Yeah, I've dead ass sat down to play Destiny and opened Elden Ring.
Oops.
I'm having a really good time. Really good time being a fucking masochist on Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah. I've not opened that door yet.
It's self-flagellating. I'm bad at this game. Oh, back in I go.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for it.
It's great. Just get my ass handed to me, get absolutely rocked by a boss, and then go, I wonder if I do. No, never mind.
Dude,
that doesn't work either.
That's my Crucible experience.
Time to go kill goats.
Oh, that's not. Tonight I'm killing God.
Speaking of Crucible, one of our predictions / wish lists came true.
Which one?
They're taking Rift out of the IB rotation and putting it in the Crucible rotation.
Yeah, I'm honestly not surprised. That was a pretty soft prediction. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but we very rarely get our wishes and our predictions. And what is 2 times now?
I know.
I got my garden themed, midsummer themed Solstice.
Yes.
And now Rift is in Crucible. So thank you, Bundy, for listening to me and only me, apparently.
Not just us. They've got data about how many people played Rift and how many people stopped playing Rift in the 2nd iteration. So Iron Band is just going back to regular zone-based?
Seems like it, yeah.
Or, no, there was some other mode that they were talking about.
See, I grabbed a screen of it and put it in I did the lazy show notes, which is you screen the information you want. So the new era of Iron Banner is the new rules we are going to be bringing in each season. while Rift won't be in Iron Banner next season, it will be in a weekly Crucible rotator.
Yeah.
Available to play week 1, 8, and 14, as well as private matches.
Cool. I'm not playing Crucible those weeks.
Yeah.
Unless they make a lot of changes.
Alongside the more standard overtime rules, there's also a multi-spark to return in future seasons.
Okay.
AFK protections have been updated, and a bug that didn't allow you to always immediately dunk the spark if you picked it up too close to the rift has been fixed.
Right.
But they have said further on in that article that they are going to be doing more explorations and more tweaking.
Yeah, but I think from memory they did not talk about putting it back in Iron Banner.
No. I can't remember what they said about Iron Banner, but from what what they said specifically, but from what I remember, yeah, it's probably just going to go back to something similar to what it was prior.
Yeah. And I didn't, and there was also a new Crucible mode that they announced, which I also didn't take notes on, and I've also forgotten.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for next season. I don't give a shit about trying to explain that right now. Go back to like last week's TWAB and read that. We're bad podcasters. But it was something around like abilities and exploding, and I don't know. It sounded cool. I just wish I remembered anything about it.
Yeah, I saw Rift and everything went, whoa,
yeah,
after
cool,
that.
bye.
I was like, oh, Rift is coming to the rotation, yay!
Yeah, and then this week's TWAB was all like weapon sandbox updates. You know, we're back on buffs and nerfs and damage scalars and airborne effectiveness and a lot of
Fixes,
numbers.
Basically.
Excuse me, that beer is just full of gas. Yeah,
big tweaks.
A lot of numbers being thrown around. Lord of Wolves in particular is getting nerfed a bit in the Crucible, which is kind of rad. But also they're taking a bunch of exotics and giving them intrinsic champion mods. I think Wishender is getting was it Anti-Barrier, and Le Monarch is getting Overload, which is real interesting given the poison tick damage that it does. There's a few in there that are getting some cheeky little updates. So that's neat.
Yeah.
I think there was something about Malfeasance, the explosion that it does, also doing some type of anti-champ effect. So that's fun. What else did we have? I'm looking at it now. They buffed and nerfed a bunch of shit. I don't know. If you have a favorite weapon that you're worried about getting buffed or nerfed, go look. I'm not gonna. It's late in the season. I don't care.
At the same time, bear in mind the numbers might seem big on paper, but then when you get it in your hand, it's not actually that dramatic of a change.
Yes, like any balance update, go and try it before you bitch and moan about it. Also, I think all the changes in this week's TWAB are coming with the new season. They're not next week. They're
not refreshed. Yeah. They're a seasonal rollover.
Yeah. Which is also when we're going to get Arc 3.0. And I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, that's big. I'm about to maybe slide back into my Chaos Reach bullshit again.
Dude, if the last two seasons are anything to go by, it's gonna probably do a bit more damage than it used to, and you'll probably have some other like perks and stuff with the aspects and fragments to boost it. I'm very intrigued to see what changes they make, because like Arc Hunters have been pretty shit for a long time. I'm curious to see what they do there, probably more than anything else. And the other one that's been kind of garbage for a while is I think it's called Striker, which is the non-Thunder Crash Titan Arc super, where you're running around just punching, and it's fine, but like if you're running Arc Titan, you're probably running Thunder Crash. Like the other one's just not as good. So I'd be keen to see that be a bit more useful.
Well, I think of Striker like I do Stormtrance, where it's like it feels like a subsidiary.
Well, you're
super.
It's not about doing big damage in one go. It's a roaming super. Like, you're gonna run around and hit a bunch of stuff, and the idea being, if you kill a lot of enemies during your super, it's either lasting longer, or you're generating more orbs, or you're stacking damage buffs. Like, you can make them work, but it's just the utility is not the same as, I'm going to turn myself into an actual missile, and I'm wearing this chest piece that makes it worse.
Yeah.
And I mean better. Worse for the enemy. Worse for the thing you hit. Thunder Crash does a stupid amount of damage, especially if you stack that up with, like, any of those things that just make damage numbers bigger. Your divinities of the world and things like it.
Which is, like, that's something, like, I really appreciate. As much as I'm just like, Stormtrance and the other ones are a bit... The thing I really appreciate at the way that Bungie approaches the classic subclasses, because I can't remember... Stasis, all the subclasses just got one super, yeah?
Yes.
So the I guess the classic subclasses, the OG subclasses, they each have a sedentary, like a long range, or a one pop super, or a super where you're meant to kind of hold your ground.
There's two different identities there.
Yeah, and then a roaming super. Especially with the warlocks, because you get Void Bomb, Nova Bomb.
Yeah.
And then you get the Blink one, where you teleport around and you let out like a blast.
Oh, Nova Warp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's the same with Chaos Reach as a long reach beam, and then Storm Trances, you float around and just zap, zap, slap.
Yes.
And then Titans have a similar thing too, where it's just like, you've either got the one big hit, or you've got the one where you can roam and do sustained kind of long-term damage. And I really like the way that they kind of thought that through and said, look, we're going to have like the One Punch Man, like single hitter, and then we're going to have like the roaming, longer term, smaller damage. Yeah. So you can apply that. Like, typically you find the roaming ones in PvP, and then like those once-offs you'll see more in boss damage,
boss phases,
PvE.
Yeah.
Because Stormtrance, unless you've got multiple enemies that you've got to defeat for some reason in a boss fight, Stormtrance is kind of not great. I don't want to say useless, but it's not the best.
Yeah,
it's not preferable.
Out of the two choices, one is certainly more effective in most cases.
And it's the same with Warp, and really the only subclass that has, for Warlocks anyway, that has a beneficial place in PvE is Radiance or Daybreak.
Right, yeah.
Because both of them have a boss application. Whereas like Radiance and Daybreak, you don't see Radiance popped a lot in PvP. So
unless you're being a gremlin in Mayhem.
Yeah. Everyone get in.
Yeah, stand in here and don't die, and then Chaos
Time to
reach
get
out
spicy.
of it. Yeah.
So I really appreciate the way they tried to look at utility with the supers, so I'm excited to see how they tweak. And then I'm excited for the next subclass too. Like, I want to see what they're working with.
Yeah.
I want my green. Give me green.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a safe expectation to say Lightfall will bring with it a new darkness subclass. That kind of seems the way they're going. I think a while back they said we're doing 3.0 for all of the light subclasses before we do another darkness one. But I think at some point, maybe it was Luke Smith said they will get to 3 darkness subclasses as well.
I'd like to see Stasis get an upgrade too.
Like, well, I don't know.
Just a couple of aspects of it that need to be brought up.
I don't know what you like.
Maybe another super. So we've got the double super offer.
I just don't think they're going to do that because that's way too much work.
Yeah, true.
Like, I would see the light system staying as it is, where they've essentially got 2 per. And then darkness just being
maybe
like
being singular supers with the aspect system.
Yeah, Stasis has got its super. Because for them to go back and introduce a second Stasis super for each class, it's a huge amount of balancing work that they're going to have to do.
Time to go back to Europa.
Yeah, right.
Varix has a present for you.
But given that predominantly lore-wise we are wielding the light, it makes sense that our abilities would be biased towards having more tools in that toolbox than the darkness side.
That makes sense, yeah.
Even though we're essentially paracausal beings that have both inside of us at all times. From a, game development standpoint, going and doing 2 of everything would be fucking crazy in terms of balancing.
Big true.
The amount of patch notes we would have to deal with where they're constantly rebalancing all of the abilities and supers, it's already kind of hard to keep up with now. Can you imagine if there were 6 possible supers per class?
Know how I approach the tweaking? I'll use something and be like, this feels kind of icky. Why? And then I'll go Google it and be like, oh, that's why it's icky. I'm going to change to this then. Or I'm going to change the exotic I use.
Yeah. And I do a similar thing of there's been a huge, with Solar 3.0, right? I was running a Solar Titan. I went in, didn't change anything, just went, oh, this is roughly how I had things configured. I'm going to see how this feels. Oh, this ability is not recharging fast enough. I'll go and tweak a few things. I'll change some weapons. Maybe there's some perks that feed into it. I prefer a more, experimental approach to build crafting where I'm actually going to go and feel this out. I'm not going to just look at numbers and mods and go, this is the optimal build. It's I also know how I like to play. I want to feel it out a bit.
That's when you boys, not so much you anymore because you know what I'm like, but someone in the server will be like, why are you doing it this way? I'm like, just like it. Yeah. Feels good. I'm still alive. I'm in this boss phase doing damage.
Yeah, but then it'll be sometimes where it's when we've got some time after, say, a dungeon, it'll be like, hey, looking at these numbers, here are the number of deaths total is biased towards one player over another. Let's talk about why. Is that wipes? Is that playstyle? Is that build? Is that whatever it is? It's information to ask questions about and go, is this a problem we actually need to solve? Or is it just that in the moment it feels more than it actually is, right? If you've got someone that's dying a lot, but they're pushing really aggressively to make certain moves, then maybe that's okay. So,
and I mean, the 3.0 systems have admittingly facilitated me being a better player overall. I think I'm doing a lot better these last 2 seasons than I have been previously.
And I mean, they're
I'm definitely more fucking aggressive than I used to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're a good almost built-in reset point because it forces you to go, okay, all of my solar subclass has been reset because it's a new system. I have to go and put all the pieces back in. And that forces you to go, okay, how does this actually work now? What does this aspect do? What does this fragment do? Oh, and then you read it and you go, oh, that's actually not what I thought I was doing. I'm going to rethink this now. So it kind of forces you to look at it differently.
That was me with Solar, where we had the whole ignite and then the other explosion type or the
scorch,
damage,
ignite, and
the AoE one. Yeah. And I just had a whole bunch of aspects in there that just didn't make sense together. I'm like, I really need to kind of focus down on one of these effects.
Or go for 2 that kind of interact. Because Titan's Scorch and Ignite kind of work together pretty well.
But then also considering things like the exotics that I lean on.
Yes.
So if I'm going to use something like Necrotic Grips with Void, I can proc a chain event with my melee that is both poison and void.
Yeah, because warlocks primarily deal with void weakness, right?
Weakness and devour, there's suppression, devour.
Actually, yeah, suppression I think is more the warlock.
And weakening.
Yeah.
So I can use a long distance melee with my necrotic grips and apply weakening and then the toxin. And even if that one of those cancels the other out, the popping can chain that together. And then you add something like Thorn or Striga on top of it.
Yeah.
And then it just gets real gross and then your screen is purple and green and I'm in the back giggling.
Yes. like the Joker.
It's helped us through duality a few times where it's just green. I'm like, yeah, green.
Oh, Meckie's been here.
Here comes some purple. You know, and that's because I went from a very long distance stand back kind of warlock to now I'm getting into the mix and I'm using ignite and explosive kind of void chain reactions and then the stasis kind of chain reactions to clear ads around me while I'm clearing ads a little bit. And what was beyond light, you wouldn't see me. If you think about the way I used to do Deepstone Crypt, you would not see me in amongst ads. You'd see me hanging back with auto rifles and pulse rifles.
You'd
and
often
stuff.
end up like backed into a corner or against a wall, and then you're just getting like crushed by ads. So yeah, it's been good to see that change and to have that come from like almost. It's better that it's come from the game forcing you to rethink things as opposed to people around you trying to like almost have interventions, because that's always awkward. But like when the game's like, we're just pulling the rug out from under you. Solar is different. Void is different. Go and build it from the ground up again.
We've been doing activities and I'm typically the bottom of the KDA when we pull it up in the server, and I've been second or third place the last few activities. And that's just from Void 3.0, like 3.0, forcing me to kind of step back and think of like how I play.
Yeah. And then every now and then, I mean, the example is like the main example is me going to you, hey, Xenophage is a crutch, use anything else. Force yourself out of those loops where it's like, this is just what I know, it's what's comfortable. It's like, but
and using
it
shotguns
fit with the
now.
build, right? Yeah, exactly.
Never used to use shotguns ever.
Yeah.
I was scared of them. But now that I have that knowledge around ignite and suppression, I'm braver and can get up close with a shotgun because I know that I have that melee there to kind of cover my butt a little bit.
Yeah, and it's all about like, you know, building out your own toolbox. Like before that season with Breach and Clear, I never used grenade launchers. I just couldn't, I don't know, I tried them, couldn't work it out. There's like too many different types of grenade launchers. I was like, this is just annoying. But because how good Breach and Clear was, it forced me to use them a lot and then get really good with them. And now I'm like, fucking Deafening Whisper, like get that little wave frame grenade, get those remote detonation ones for like some real sneaky shit. And now I've got that tool in my toolbox, right? Like if I know that there's a lot of ground-based ads, scions, dregs, whatever it is, maybe I want to run a wave frame grenade launcher. And it's like a very specific thing. But I had to go through that process, go like, oh, these are actually good. I just never had a reason to try them. Same thing with like sidearms, shotguns, snipers. I still don't know if I'll ever get sniper rifles right, because it just, especially on mouse and keyboard, like there are people that are just way too good with that shit, and it's just not, the zoom is too much for me. Like I love a scout rifle because it's like right in the middle there. I can get the precision. The zoom is just enough where I don't feel like I'm scoped into like this really tight window. I don't think I need to worry about sniper rifles too much.
Yeah. And I've also become a player now too with all the changes where if I want to make a change, I can either justify why I want to try that to you guys or talk it out with you guys to kind of be like, is this going to be the right thing? Like, I think it was a couple of duality runs ago where one of the people we were running with, we had a failed boss fight, and he was like, hey, Meckii, what did you do to Keitel then? And I was like, oh, I threw this grenade on her and I have this aspect. So that when I throw this grenade at her, it does continual weakening. And then as I'm killing ads around me, it does this. And he's like, oh, okay, can you do that again?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm smart.
Yes.
I'm good at this game. Gets lost.
Yeah, it's a big game.
Somehow ends up in the nightmare realm, and you guys are in the real world.
God,
like, how the
some of those bell interactions are cracked.
Or I whiff a jump, and I'm like, never mind, I'm not that good at it. Don't worry.
Yeah. So it's going to be exciting to see what Arc 3.0 brings.
I want to see how it pushes people to kind of pivot back into Arc.
Yeah, the thing I've only just had this thought. The thing I'm curious about, right, is if we get any changes to like how mods work. Because I run a lot of arc-based Charged with Light mods, because if you combine a couple of them, they give you like plus 20 to an individual stat. I don't think we've seen mod changes with these 3.0 systems.
Not really. Not that I can remember.
Yeah, so it's probably a non-starter.
And I use Void specific mods quite a lot because of how often I use Void.
Yeah.
Now with 3.0, and even then before 3, my primaries used to be Void and Arc. So
yeah, actually, no. What it is the artifact mods. That's what I'm curious about, because they're usually, to feed back into whatever the theme of the season is, right? At the moment we've got a bunch of solar themed ones. So I'm expecting maybe there's a mod that makes chain lightning chain further. Like think about the way runes in Diablo work. The runes on individual abilities that kind of fork how they work. That's kind of what I'm thinking of, is like if you've got a melee that does essentially chain lightning, does it spread more, does it do more damage, like how do all those things work in conjunction with aspects and fragments? But also remembering that the artifact mods only last for the length of that season, so they don't want them to be so good that people miss them too much when they're gone.
And then we're going to start to see weapon and armor exotics come back into the rotation too.
Yeah.
Because the way they impact is going to change. Like I can see, if anything to do with chain lightning, Risky Bisky.
Runner and Trinity Ghoul back on the menu.
Yeah, they were the two primary guns I was thinking of. I was like, they're going to come back into play. Yep. You're going to see things like Crown of Tempest come back into play for the Warlocks. Like
Thunderlord. Thunderlord is getting a champion mod.
Yeah.
Like Arc Machine Gun, Chain Lightning, same thing with, Cloud Strike does a similar thing, but Thunderlord I think is also going to do Anti-Barrier. It's one of those three, whatever it is. But yeah, Thunderlord is probably going to come back.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of, especially Raid Race Day 1, you're going to probably see a lot of really weird Arc builds because people have 3 days to figure it out. Well, and we're probably going to come across a lot of really broken Arc builds too, because especially for some reason, and I won't say sorry, for some reason consistently the Warlocks keep breaking things. We keep finding really guffed mod and weapon or exotic and weapon kind of combinations where we're just like, hey guys, we're here to ruin everyone's day.
Yes.
Bitch, hold my poodle.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Like it's one of the, I think, only remaining arguments for doing bounty stacking before a season starts is getting to those higher tier artifact mods during the first week for that raid.
I'm considering bounty stacking.
It's
again,
honestly,
it's kind of pointless, but
2 weeks to go, you won't really get far enough for it to matter. Like the first couple of columns are just anti-champ mods.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, you know what? It's one of those things that even if I just do a little bit of it, because I've got the Titan now, if I do a little bit of it the week before reset, just to give myself that little bit of a kick up the butt, it's like I'm tossing up between it, or I'm like,
it's really you either start 4 to 6 weeks out or you don't bother.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing it a lot. It's just I think it's a waste of time, and I wish that was 100% true. Like, I wish that it didn't matter that much for the raid to be able to run it without those artifact mods, right? Like, they're often a way to get a lot of extra damage or a lot of extra, like, ability interaction. And that is kind of annoying because, like, it's the one holdout that encourages an unhealthy relationship with the game. Like, PvP is its own mess, yes, fine. But in terms of, like, the behavior patterns that I see people talking about online, it's like, I got to do bounty stacking for like 4 weeks, got to get all this shit lined up, I got to prep all these materials. It's like, you shouldn't have to. You should be able, like, if you're at power level, you should just be able to go do the day one raid.
Yeah.
You shouldn't require or think that you might require, which necessitates all of this work, these artifact mods, right? Like, people are doing it just to hedge their bets. It's like, yes, but you're also probably going to burn yourself out before the season even drops.
Which I feel like is another reason too. We all like I would say collectively as a clan or a fire team at the very least, we all kind of drop back to casual in the final couple weeks of a season. Like once the lore is done, we tend to slow down.
Yeah.
And I think that's I think that's one of the keys in terms of longevity for just the way we are as people.
Yeah.
Because we get burnt out and we recognize that, so we peel back.
Yes.
I think that's the key, because I get asked by people all the time who played or play Destiny or played Destiny, and then when they ask me what I play and I say Destiny 2, I get a lot of like, oh, how do you still play that? And it's like, well, everything in moderation, right? Like,
yeah.
If I sit down on my computer and I look at that Destiny icon on my desktop and it's not an instant start it up, it's more of a, oh, I have to go do this week and then this. I'm like, I just won't play it then.
Yeah.
Because I don't want Destiny to feel like a chore. It's a video game,
dude, the amount of times
not a job or a chore for me.
The amount of times I've logged into Destiny, loaded into that initial orbit screen, and then just closed the game.
And then just gone out. Yeah. I did, because it's also muscle memory. You sit down and just automatically start Destiny and go, I was like, what the... I came to do my fucking grocery shopping. Why do I open Destiny?
But yeah, it's the way that I look at that kind of end of season, pullback is the same way I look at like puzzle games or like just game design games in general. Is like, what is the game trying to tell me or get me to do? And the way that they roll out that narrative where it's like 6 weeks of story, 2 to 3 weeks of the event, the seasonal event, and then a couple of weeks of nothing. The meat and potatoes is in that first 6 weeks with the story. The seasonal event is there for like a bit of, I don't know, almost comedic relief or like light relief, that kind of, it's a nice breathing space. There's this other activity to keep you going. Then that last couple of weeks is like, they're not saying it explicitly, but they're kind of encouraging you to take a break. And like, yeah, there are plenty of things you could do if you want to, but you are in no way, you don't need to, right? Like you could go and get challenges and triumphs and titles and whatever, but like you should be doing that because you want that thing, not because of like some feeling of compulsion or like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And it's a hard place. It's a hard like loop to get out of when you spend so much time going, I want to get everything. I want to do everything. It's like, yeah, but also there'll be another season. They last for 3 months. Like there'll be another season coming up soon enough, and you want to be able to enjoy it, right? So like that couple of weeks at the end of the season is built in as a break from the game telling you, here's what you should do.
Yeah.
Treat it that way.
Yeah. Like, yeah, the way they plan the seasons are very intentional. And I don't know how some people just haven't caught on to that.
Yeah.
Because we've hit that point in the season where we're starting to see that there's nothing to fucking do tweets.
Yeah. So it's like,
we'll go do something else.
The two extreme ends are like trying to do everything, just treating it like a job, being busy every week, getting to the end of the season, being angry about how busy they are playing Destiny 2, or in week 1, doing everything and then complaining there's nothing to do. It's like, you have done this to yourself. The game is not built for that. It is built on a week by week, day by day rollout of content. It is not built with the goal in mind of like, you're going to do the stuff as fast as possible, right? If they were, it would be easy to do that.
Yeah.
If that was the goal, it wouldn't be so hard to grind things in 1 day or 2 days or even 1 week. But it's legitimately challenging to try and go like, new season's dropped, I'm going to try and get this fucking title done or whatever it is as fast as possible. Like, just change your mindset, homie.
And that's for me too. Like, about halfway through the 8-week lore rotation is when I actually sit down and I look at the title for that season, or
because chances are you've probably done half of it by then just by playing the game.
Yeah. When I first jump in, I obviously go into the season and have a look at all the different triumphs.
Yes.
I nearly said tributes. Triumphs that I can do that season, and then also the seasonal challenges, and I go, oh yeah, all right. and then just organically through playing the lore, you unlock close a bunch of them out.
Yeah.
And then usually halfway through the lore cycle, I tend to sit down and go, is there any kind of title that I kind of want to...
Or that I'm just close to?
Yeah, like may as well get it done. 90% of the time. No.
Yeah.
Because that interrupts walking aimlessly around the throne world time. Why get a title when I can just walk around the throne world for a while?
Yeah, I think like the only thing I look out for early in a season is any of those like triumphs or challenges that I think are going to be hard for me based on how I tend to play. So there was one that was like get fusion rifle kills in Gambit, right? I never run fusion rifles in Gambit except for very specific occasions, or like shotguns and trace rifles in Gambit, like those sort of things where it's like I have to think about how I'm going to do this in order to even get it done. And that's because I've looked at the other requirements for that title or whatever it is and gone, yeah, the rest of these are just going to happen based on how I already play. And this one last piece will require me to do something different. And so I'll focus on that until it's done and then go back to how I usually do things.
Yeah.
But I try to do that early so I'm not like getting to, you know, the last couple of weeks and going, I've got to do all these things that I don't like all at once. So, yeah, I'm going to just keep playing Horizon Forbidden West because I got that PS5 and I've been hanging out to play this game for a long time. That's going to be my next couple of weeks.
Elden Ring. I'm purposely mispronouncing all of the Welsh words in Elden Ring to piss off my mate.
Good.
Because he's
and all
Welsh.
of those Elden Ring nerds who are like, no, it's this. I don't even know any to make a joke because I haven't played the game.
It's really funny to me because like there's a lot of words in it that are Welsh. Like BLIDD. It looks like it's Blide, but it's Blythe because DD in Welsh is a sound. And there's certain names in it too. So I will just say, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh yeah, Blid. He's like, oh my God, stop.
Sticky with the bloody
Yeah. I'll say names of characters wrong. He's like, no, stop. Welsh is a made-up language.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. Wales.
It's like
Wales is just England on New Game Plus.
It's like they're playing Scrabble on the computer and just hit random. Just, I don't know, give me 10 letters, I'll make a word.
Australia is just
them.
Yeah, the same friend told me the other day that Australia is England on New Game Plus.
I'm gonna have to sit and think about the implications of that statement. That's very good.
Y'all got snakes? What?
Yo, check out these snakes though. We leveled them up. These things will eat birds. No, that's the spiders.
Koalas are really cute, but don't touch them because they have brain diseases.
You might get an STD that is... What? I'm not fucking them. Doesn't matter. They've got it.
It doesn't matter. Koalas are clapped out.
That's why they sleep 20 hours a day, right? Because their body's fighting off an STD at all times. What a joke of a country. We should get out of here. This is just...
Hey, Destiny, put Australia in.
The upside down Destiny, the meme video. That's so fucking good.
That video is so good. I like that they put Ohio in it. They were just like, Destiny, but Ohio is a destination.
I don't understand the Ohio memes at the moment. Someone did that where they replaced all the dragons in Skyrim with the map of
State
Ohio.
Of Ohio.
It was just like, Ohio is there in that initial city breathing fire at you.
Well, it's like me saying that certain states in the US don't exist. It's the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Where people are like, only Ohio.
They hyper exist.
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, Wyoming doesn't exist. You can't prove it. People are like, it exists. I'm like, nah, homie, that is a square and it's just cornfields. You and I know that is just cornfields.
Yeah. I've driven through that part of the US.
Oh,
it is all corn and solar farms. Oh, wind farms, sorry.
Me conglomerating North and South Carolina just into Carolina.
Yeah, and same thing with Dakota.
And Virginia.
Just give me one Dakota.
There's a West Virginia. What was wrong with the first one?
It's not even near the other Virginia.
Very dumb.
Stupid country. Anyway, on that note, that's probably going to do it for Error Code Blueberry this week. I think.
I think the alcohol's kicked in for both of them.
Bro, I'm gonna go get another.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat some KFC and drink Strong Zero.
Fuck
yeah.
yes. Saturday. Anyway, that's done it. We'll be back next week with, I guess, the last one of these before the next season. That's exciting. Get a new showcase soon.
Unless 2022 decides to try and nerf me again.
Please, no. We need to keep making this damn show.
I'll get out of the moon boot and break the other foot.
Knowing you, yes.
On the same set of stairs.
No, it'll be the knee on the same leg. Somehow.
I'll show up in 2 weeks in an arm cast.
Just like full body cast, just like, what's up? I'm Meckii. I can't move. I got a beer and a long straw. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Hit all the buttons, do all the things. Tell all your friends, tell your family. Specifically tell your uncle about Erico Blueberry.
Tell your dad about me.
Different website for that.
Single.
Bye.
Love you. Leaves.